Hi, welcome to 3D Foundation Color Matching. So we are going to be learning how to perfectly match our client every time with the colors that are available. We'll always be getting new colors, but as long as you keep applying these same rules, we won't have to make a new video, we won't have to make new, anything new. You'll just know what to do and you'll implement that. So with 3D Foundation, our biggest challenge is going to be finding the right color. And that is due to the fact that through color science, we've been able to make the perfect colors for highlight and contour that illuminate the face and make people look alive. So even the people with not so great skin are going to look like they have fabulous skin because the colors are so unique and because what we're looking for is a little different than your normal foundation where you're covering the whole face with one color and then you just try to add color afterwards. We're gonna do that where we do it all in one session, and that's what makes us different from everyone else, is that we're actually using the right colors to bring to life the skin rather than covering it up, which is fantastic. So what you're going to do is you're going to first assess the face, and you're going to say, okay, do they belong in a dark spectrum? Do they belong in a light spectrum? Are they somewhere in the middle? Or do we have major issues that we're dealing with? So once you've decided that, then you can kind of look to your palette and say, okay, we're gonna go with dark colors, we're gonna go with light colors, or we're gonna go somewhere in between. Anytime they have a skin issue, let's say rosacea or melasma, being pink, really pink in the skin, or really dark colors due to hormones, sometimes people have them here, they can have it all over their face, then know that you're always gonna go a little darker than you think to cover those issues and not make them look washed out. Another thing to remember is when we're choosing colors, we're not necessarily choosing a color that matches the skin perfectly. We're choosing a color that is going to create a shadow or illuminate the skin, meaning we want to bring the skin to life, so we want it to look warm and inviting as if you're walking around in perfect lighting at all times, which would be great. So I'm going to take two things, my palette and Q-tips. This is how we don't waste product and we don't get product all over the face and wish we hadn't. So we're gonna go into, we know that I'm fair and I don't have a lot of skin issues. I think this is not normal for me. I think it's because it's like 110 degrees outside. So we're gonna ignore that for the most part. That will go away. So when I look at my face, I'm like, I'm fair. I don't have any really obvious melasma or rosacea, so we're gonna try our three fairest colors, okay? Which will change, but for now they are Moonlit, Aura, and White Peach. Actually, Moonlit first, then White Peach, then Aura, starting from lightest to darkest. So we're gonna go and try. Okay, so this would be Moonlit, and I like to take a little stripe and then use the back of the Q-tip and kind of blend it in a little bit so we're not covering the skin completely, but we are definitely getting a good amount on there. Okay, there's our first stripe. That is Moonlit, okay? Next, we're gonna go into White Peach. Next will be White Peach. Okay, other side of the Q-tip. Blend it in just a little. Okay, there we go. We're getting a little bit of this part of the face and a little bit of this part of the face, so we're not just getting the lightest part of the face, okay? And then next, we're going to go into Aura. Okay? Aura, straight down, other side of the Q-tip, and blend. Make sure it's blended pretty well so we know it's not just that we have too much. Okay. So now I'm going to get up close so we can see what we're looking at here. So when I look at what I'm looking for, two things. I'm looking for a color that makes my skin come to life, which means it's kind of glowy but not orange or yellow. And I'm looking for something that doesn't look chalky or create texture issues, okay? So when I look, this is definitely, to me, looks chalky, and you can see those texture issues. That is definitely a no. Easy. It's like a multiple choice test. It's like, I always freaked out when there wasn't a multiple choice because I was very good at that process of elimination. If it was like a chapter test, I was like, oh gosh, I'm doomed. Okay, so next, looking between these two colors, neither of them really have texture issues, so that's good. We know that it could be either one. But when I look at this one, this is illuminating without looking chalky, and this is a little yellow. Can you see that? Because you can see that yellowy orange color in there. This one just looks like it's light hitting me. So that's how I decide, okay, it's definitely this one, because they both look good, but one looks a lot more yellow than the other one, okay? So there we are. Now, you could easily not be able to decide, and so you could go with two. You could just use the lighter one to kind of illuminate, and the darker one to just kind of go in these areas where we're a little darker. So don't be afraid to use two highlight colors. A lot of times too, people want to because they want one for when they're tan and one for when they're not tan. And those would be two good ones for me because there weren't any real jump out issues. So I would have probably been okay. Had I messed up and chosen Aura, I would probably be just fine. It's just that this is better choice, okay? So we've got our highlight picked. You'll get really good at this. You'll be surprised at how good you're gonna get at this. Just have to, like I said, do faces. Just put yourself through boot camp. Okay, so now we're gonna look for a shadow color. The shadow color needs to look just that, like a shadow. See that shadow that's being created already? I don't know what's creating that shadow. I should probably get rid of it. But, so let's go into three colors, just the ones that we like come to us first. So for me, I'm gonna just try olive, ash, and stone and see how that goes, okay? So we'll start with stone. Now remember, we're looking for a shadow. We don't want it to be orange and we don't want it to look like mud. Somewhere in between, we're okay. Okay, next we'll do olive. And one challenge is you're gonna have to remember what you're using. I didn't blend that one, so we're gonna blend that. Because if you forget what you swatched, don't be afraid to swatch it again. That's way better than picking the wrong color. Okay, blend it in just a little bit better. And I don't think I used as much, so that one, I'm gonna make it more obvious. Okay. All right, those don't look too different from each other, but we'll see how ash looks next. Okay, ash going on next. Obviously, I've got a little highlight in there somewhere. Okay, ash. I want to get enough on here so you guys can actually see what we're doing. Okay. Now, looking for a shadow. So let's take the shadow, let's just utilize it. Which one looks the most like that? I would say not This one, I would say this one's the closest to looking like a shadow. This one looks a little orangey, this one looks a little orangey, this one looks real close to that shadow. I like that. If you don't have a convenience shadow like I have, you can create one. Where's my shadow? There we go. So just create one yourself. Find the one that looks the best. Okay, so I think ash for me. Sometimes my skin likes to do olive, but I think ash today. So ash and white peach. Okay, now the contours are going to be more forgiving than the highlights because we're not looking as much for texture issues. So just remember, don't forget, okay, am I causing a texture issue? And if you are, but you only are in certain places, then maybe that means that you could use 2 highlights. Maybe one around the nose and where they're really dark, and then one kind of here and in the brighter part of the eyes. When I do that and they don't want to buy, like, say 5, I'll always just forego the illuminator and illuminate with the highlight. So try that out. Don't be afraid to experiment, and don't be afraid. Like, I think a lot of times we get in a rut where we always have a go-to color. Don't do that, because you, look at this. Don't do that, because so much you'll surprise yourself. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I totally thought that they were aura or amber, but they ended up being mango, and that looks beautiful on them. So, trust yourself, trust the process, use the rules, and you're not gonna go wrong. Also, don't be afraid to put yourself through the refiner's fire. Do at least 10 faces. I would say 20. But you will learn so fast, and don't be afraid, because it's makeup. Makeup isn't scary. So have confidence in yourself and know that you can do this, and you'll be awesome at it, I promise. Bye.